So what's been happening with your group?
Well, we had Di and Kay up on Monday.
Yep.
And had a good day. We've had one of our ladies who's just got her graduation. We're having her graduation in a couple of weeks' time. And so that's good. She's worked really, really hard since last convention to get there.
How much has she lost this year?
I can't tell you how much she's lost, but since she joined the club, she's lost about 20 kilos.
Oh wow, that is really good. That's really good for you. You're really good for your club.
Yes, and she, she got it together after the last convention, and she brought in a few smoothies into her meal plan.
Yep.
And I had a talk with them a couple of weeks ago on the meal replacements and everything. I said, if you bring a smoothie in, that's replacing your meal. You don't have that as well as your meal. And just getting that, it's not to supplement your meal, it's to replace your meal.
Yeah.
And another one of the ladies has taken that on board. She has 3 smoothies a week.
Yeah.
She has 3.
Instead of that is the meal. That's instead
of her meal.
Can I ask if it's a purchased product, or is it a smoothie that they make themselves?
That they make themselves.
Yep.
I've encouraged them to do that, because I said, if you make them yourself, I made some and took them down and let them try. And of course, I put everything in it, and she does that. And the other day, she made the banana and ice cream.
Okay. Yep.
Yes, and I love that. And she's having about 3 oat breakfast. What, the oats with the yogurt and the fruit.
Yep.
And she's having 3 of them. I said, good. I said, there's 6 meals that you don't have to think about. You've only got 15 to think about for the week. I said,
yeah. So that's her breakfast taken care of, isn't it? That's.
Well, she as she said, I couldn't have breakfast. I couldn't have that for breakfast 7 mornings a week. I can come in at 3. She said, I've got to bring in something else because I like variety.
But breakfast is one of the easiest meals to control, isn't it?
Well, I have my main meal for breakfast.
You have your main meal. So okay, you're a reverse person, Day.
Yes, I reverse it, because I was told years back to have a main meal at breakfast. And when I came back from Western Australia, it was from an air-conditioned house. It was so hot, I couldn't have a hot meal at lunchtime or a hot meal in the evening. It was too hot, and I couldn't have salads all day either. So I had a hot meal in the wintertime at breakfast time, like a big plate of soup or something like that. And this morning I had beans and couscous and half a plate of veggies.
Yeah, I couldn't. I couldn't
You couldn't do that, could you?
I can't have a main meal at breakfast, but I also don't like having my main meal at night either.
No,
because I work from home, I like my main meal in the middle of the day.
Yes.
And that works for me. So it's I don't go to bed on that full stomach.
But I couldn't go to bed. Like this afternoon, 4 o'clock, I made a roll, and I've been making the Enduri Ethiopian flatbread.
Okay, tell me about that, because you used to do sourdough bread as well, didn't you?
I do sourdough bread all the time, and then Enduri is also it's sourdough, and you make it up like it's a little bit thicker than a crepe, a little bit thinner than a pancake.
Yeah.
And I cook it on a crepe pan. As soon as it starts to get bubbles on it, I put the lid on it and let it steam. And it's very soft. You can make wraps with it, use it for everything.
Now, you've been doing sourdough for quite a few years now. So yes. I'm going to ask you a question that I can't quite find the answer to.
Yes.
how is the gluten in sourdough? Is it gluten free? Has the enzymes a chance to break the gluten down in sourdough because it takes you sit it for so long? I just don't know.
Okay. Some people who are gluten intolerant can tolerate sourdough bread.
Yeah.
If you're celiac, no dice. And it just depends. Now, there was a couple in America that made sourdough bread. He made it some days and she made it some days, and he was gluten sensitive. If he made the bread, he could eat it. If she made the bread, he couldn't. They followed the same recipe, but the difference was in how they worked their dough. And one of them stretched the dough and worked it. He stretched it, being a man with extra strength and everything. He stretched the dough and worked that gluten more than his wife did.
Yeah, because I've always seen, you see more sourdough on the shelves of the bakeries these days. But my understanding with sourdough was it was actually, you usually let it sit for 12 hours or many hours.
I make it over a 24-hour period.
Yeah, and my understanding is that in doing so, it gives the enzymes the chance to break down the gluten, which makes it a reduced gluten and makes it tolerant for bread eaters. Gluten intolerant people. That one of the things that ruined bread in the modern day is that bread in the manufacturing process is no longer sitting as long as it does. They've got it down to, bread dough, bread out the door, 1 or 2 hours.
No, half an hour.
Half. See, that's not giving the enzymes in the mixture a chance to work on things, is it?
No, but that's true. And the other thing is the yeast that they use has it feeds on your B vitamins in your body, and you shouldn't eat bread unless it's 24 hours old if you want to keep your nice B vitamins in your body. And who likes bread 24 hours old?
Yeah, I can't eat bread at all. I love bread, and that's why I have a problem with it now, because I used to eat, half a loaf a day, and you become intolerant to the things that you love. You just kind of build up an allergy or a reaction to things you love. Too much bread, bad for you. Too much, well, I was going to say alcohol, but that's...
We'll leave that one out of the equation.
We'll leave that one out,
yeah. It just depends on what your gut's like, Peter.
What else has been happening with your club? Because you're very proactive with your club, and your club's a very proactive club.
Well, we have 1.6 loss, a 1.5 loss, a 1.2 loss with some of the ladies this week. And the 1.5 was the lady who'd started bringing in those smoothies. She said, I'm getting it together, and she's trying to do one thing a week. This week she's bringing chickpeas in.
Okay.
And I said, don't do anything more. I said, because otherwise you'll put yourself under pressure.
Yeah, it usually takes about 3 weeks to develop a new habit.
Yes.
So we rush it a bit in our weight loss course, where we say let's bring in one new thing a week. But on the weight loss course, we do it over 4 times a year. In your group, it's at your club. It's probably better if they're going to change your habit. Work on it for about you mentioned a month once. To bring in one thing new a month. That would definitely instill a new habit. Some people need to be a bit faster, but 3 weeks to a month is a way to get a new habit in.
Yes. Well, I'm in the middle of getting another talk together for the people.
What are you going to talk?
I'll explain it to you. What I'm going to, this is just in my mind, I'm just going to draw a line across the board and just put a wavy line across it and say, this is what we're like when our 20s and 30s with our diet. That's probably, we'll use that as what our weight should be, and we fluctuate around it. When we get up over the 35 or something, those two biscuits extra a day, which is about 100 calories a day at the end of 1 week will give you 100 gram of weight that you put on. And if you're not doing any exercise to cut down that 100 gram of weight, it'll start creeping up. After 12 days of having 100 gram extra, you've had 1 full day of meal. Okay, you see where I am if you're on the 1500, and you fitted a whole meal in just by that little 100 gram.
And it's
100 calories.
100 calories. Yeah, it's that. Does that one biscuit hurt you? And in reality, that one biscuit does hurt you, doesn't it?
Yeah. Or you're ready to go for a walk around the block twice because you've done that. And it takes, that's nearly 100 gram a week, 400 a month. In 3 months' time, you put on a kilo. And in the year's time, you put on 4 kilos. In 3 years' time, you put on 12 kilos. And that's hypothetically. And that's about the time a lot of people start thinking about, I better get my weight under control. It's 3 or 4 years to get up to there, and they expect to do it in 6 months.
Yeah, and it's slow on, slow off, isn't it? I mean,
yes.
You didn't wake up in the morning and go, oh God, I'm overweight. You woke up 3 years down the track and gone, oh, belt doesn't fit anymore. The weight, and it happens as you get older, as you said. Once you pass 30, 35, you'll gain. You put on 15, 20 kilos over 5 to 10 years without really noticing it, and just say, oh, I'm just getting older. When it is you're just eating that little bit too much each time. And sometimes it can be just coming home. I've spoken with people about just taking a stubby, that stubby they have at night time out of their diet. They get home and have a stubby. I just don't do it. And that's 150 calories in the stubby taken out every day, as you said, and there's 1,000 calories a week, and then it's another day's intake of food, isn't it?
Yes.
Just by taking out that stubby a day. So it's the little things that you do that matter, but there's a lot of little things that you do.
Yes, and so I'm just looking at that and getting it together for a simple talk, just to get people thinking about what they're doing, and say it's the little things, it's the little foxes.
Yeah.
If you go out and you might go out and eat a big meal, well that's okay, but you cut back the next few days, and that's what you see. That's what you do automatically up until about 35. You just cut up and down, and about 35, 40, hormones start to change.
We start doing less.
Maybe getting close to, you about start getting closer to the empty nest syndrome, and there's you haven't got a toddler to run after and all of that, and things change. And I also found something that I'm going to read to the ladies. I'll tell you what it is.
Yep.
No one changes unless they want to. Not if you beg them, not if you shame them, not if you use reason, emotion, or tough love. There's only one thing that makes someone change: their own realization that they need to.
Yes.
And that was written by Laurie Deschen. And that, so I thought there's so much truth in that.
Yeah, that's what you have in your weight loss groups, is that you can't make them change. You can be a catalyst, you can be a guide, but they've got to want to change themselves. And the fact that they're there is an indication that's just the first step of change. Going to your meetings is the first step. There's a lot of other steps. You walking through the door is the first thing. Prepare to be there for 3 years, at least.
Yes.
You get some people, though, they come in and they'll just, within 6 months or a year, they're down the goal weight, they're out the door again, aren't they? it's just their personality. These people you'll get them sometimes.
Yes.
Unfortunately, they don't stay with the group because they can be a real bonus to your clubs. But they're just on the way doing the next project.
And some of them, once they've done that, they say, I know what to do. I know where to go. If I need help, there's more to life than coming to a weight loss club.
Yeah, but it's sometimes it's just nicer to consider it your lifestyle club,
Yes.
because you guys, there's swapping of recipes, there's exchange of ideas and exchange of information. I sometimes think, you got to call it a weight loss group because that's the goal and the objective. That's the reason for the group being there. But it really is a lifestyle group, is what you're developing, isn't it?
Yes.
So if a person comes, they lose weight and they go away, you might see them again in a couple of years because they'll just come back again because they've gained the weight back again just as easily as they lost it. But I feel sorry for the group when they lose a person like that, where they left and they haven't given back to the group. They've taken from the group, they've got what they want, and they've left. And part of the growing process of belonging to a weight loss group is you get to a point where you start giving back. Now, you've been giving back to your group for years.
Yes.
And that's why your group is successful, because there's people like you who give back. It's
like a lot of the clubs are not getting people in unless they're meeting now of an evening, because so many people are working. Where are all the young women and young men? They're all working. They can't come out unless they come of an evening.
Yeah.
And,
when I used to give the talks, I used to there used to be so many daytime weight loss groups, in the weight reduction clubs, and I could spend the day driving around from the morning group to the mid-morning group to the afternoon group, and then do a talk of the evening group. And I used to do that. But now it's, as you said, the morning groups or daytime groups are disappearing because as people work.
yes. Either that.
You're a daytime group.
Yes. But we haven't had a new person we've had one new person or two new people, and I think they came towards the end of last year.
And they still there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and one of them is going very, very successfully because she knows what to do, and she just needs the encouragement of the club to do what she knows.
Some people need that place to go and stand on the scales.
Yes.
It keeps them accountable,
Yes.
And that's an important thing for some people. I suppose everybody's at clubs for their different reasons, and you've got to try to be the club for that reason.
Yes. Well, it's like I brought out last week. We all know what to do, but do we do what we know?
And that is so true. Yes. That's why weight loss is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Most people know what to do, but it's so much easier to not do it.
Yes.
It's so much easier to keep down that path of least resistance, and the path of least resistance is that chocolate cake, that cream biscuit, that pot of beer, that cafe latte, white coffee from a coffee shop.
150 calories, isn't it?
It's about 100. Yeah, this shocked me. I was absolutely amazed years ago why people would say, I'd ask for a black coffee and they say, do you want milk with that? I said, that'll make it a white coffee. And I realised it's something from down in Melbourne or Victoria. Victorians do this. Melburnians do this. The white coffee is 150 calories, but if you ask for a black coffee and get a milk on the side, you just add it's back down to 20 calories.
Yes.
And that's because the coffee machines are making white coffee on milk basis. That's why everybody drinks it. It's full of milk, but it's 150 calories. So you sit down and have two of them with a friend, and you've got 300 calories in you.
Yes. Well, you just have one every day, and every day, because that's what a lot of people do, is have one a day, but they don't use it as a meal replacement.
And it is, isn't it? It is a meal replacement. Anything you put in your mouth that has calories is a meal.
Yes, or you handle it as one serve of dairy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, how many people would like to sit down and have a white coffee from Coffee Club, have that and go, that was lunch. They wouldn't do it, would
No,
they?
no, or say I can only have I can have a full sandwich for lunch, or I can have a coffee and half a sandwich.
Yeah. Yeah. Or order the coffee in a cup and not a mug.
Yes.
You know, drink coffee the way it was supposed to be drunk, and or have a cup of tea. But yeah. So
that's something that you've just brought out to me. Like when I was growing up, everybody drank tea. And that, and it's just during the last 30 years that people have started coffee, and then the milk coffee.
Yeah.
When the cafes came, they started the milk coffee.
Yeah. The culture's changed, and with the new culture comes additional calories.
Yes.
And nobody, it's sort of upsizing without knowing it, or upsizing calories without knowing it. What does your club do to attract people?
Well, we're trying to think of what we're doing to do a drive again. We haven't. We have our street stall. We have Healthy, Wise and Savvy is something. We go to that. We have a few outlets that we go and we hand papers out at. Notices in the school newsletters. We put notices up in the doctor's offices and the chemists and the shops.
Yeah, you're doing the right marketing.
Yes.
And last time I was there were quite a few people in that group. I think there'd have been at least 20.
Yes, we have about 30 something on our books, and we have about around 22 or something who come to the meetings.
So you're a successful club, and
and we need people to start doing that, so that other people say, "Hey, I've got this that I can contribute."
Yeah. And because one of the things I was trying to think about doing was getting in touch with other weight loss groups and do this one-on-one talking. Because one of the things that it can do is then promote the weight reduction clubs of Queensland. It will help promote the one in your area, because I'm going to say, this is Denise from the Weight Reduction Club of Boonah, and we'll do a interview situation, and so we can cover success stories. What's working for the club? How can the club be improved? How you market? Because there'll be other clubs out there going, well, I don't know what to do to bring the numbers up. I think also one of the problems with the clubs is you say you can't attract young people, is because a lot of times young people are moving towards the internet. Yes. And it's hard for the weight reduction clubs to do that, but there's no reason why some clubs can't do that. You still needed to be a body of people where you meet face to face, but you can also get your information from somewhere else. Like I post a lot of information up on Facebook on the DietFit Discussion page, hoping that the weight reduction people will. The older people have trouble using Facebook, but you know what? Facebook is for people my generation and your generation, because the young people aren't on Facebook. Well, hang on, if they're not on Facebook, then it's hard to get young people on, isn't it? But but it's another way of passing information. And I like these ideas of these talks. And I'm just going to think out, who else can I actually talk to or have a meeting with like this on a one-on-one? Anyway, it's just a thought. But Denise, have you got anything else to add to it? Because I've done a lot of talking. I should shut up.
Well, I was just going to say I appreciate all the work and the effort you put in to do this, and I'd love to see half a dozen people here or more when we're having the talks, as you probably would too.
Yeah, one day,
you start slowly.
Look, when I had my gym, one client was, I'm always told that you can't keep two people until you learn to keep one person.
Yes.
And that's probably the same with weight loss groups. You can't grow your weight loss group. You can't get 6 people if you can't keep 5 people. Once you learn how to keep 5 people, you'll learn how to keep 6, then 7, then 8, then 10. Your group is, you've learned to keep 36 people or thereabouts. That's good. That's a good group. Denise, we're going to pull a pin there. I want to thank you. This has been Denise from Weight Reduction Clubs of Boonah. Thank you for participating, Denise, and I look forward to next week or Thursday night if you're there with me Thursday night.